Hello, I am Brother Kelly Hughes, chaplain of the arts. We are broadcasting from the Valiant Theatre here in the heart of Winnipeg's greasy Tenderloin district, just around the corner from Old Market Square, where the tail end of Fringe is upon us. This is Kelly Hughes Live, Shorts Fringe 2025. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you are joining us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or if you're on our YouTube channel, or if you happen to be listening on UMFM 101.5, thank you so much for stopping by. And thank you so much to Sherri L for stopping by.
Hi, thanks for having me over.
This is my last interview. We're about I think this is about hour 17.
Wow.
And you're about artist, I don't know, 57 or 58 or something. And so I've decided just to embrace my inner slob. I've been like wearing, it's been like hot out, and I've been wearing like my jeans and my, but this morning I just kind of I worked 9 or 10 hours yesterday at my work. So then I kind of I woke up this morning and I was just like,
yeah.
Do you ever? I mean, you got shows to do and everything. Do you wake up every morning and you're like, yeah, go get them?
No, no, the mornings are rough right now. So it's, it takes a little while to get rolling. Most of my shows are evening. My weekend shows were in the afternoon.
And you're probably staying up late, partying with the Martin Dockerys of the world.
Well, or something like that, yeah.
The show is Cancer Wife. This wasn't in the plan. Okay. That is Sherri L Theatre Projects. It is at Venue 22. Creative Manitoba, just around the corner from the Samosa truck, not very far from there. You've got we're recording this Thursday morning, so depending on when I get this up, there's a show tonight at 6, one tomorrow at 7:15, a couple more on the weekend, and tickets are that's only that day. How much are tickets?
Tickets are 14.
Tickets are 14. Is that that's sort of common this year?
I think that a lot of people are sort of set there. Under 25 is 10.
Under 25 what?
Under 25 years old. There's a $10 discount. I think that's Fringe
for everybody.
I think so.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because we want to make sure we're encouraging
the Gen Zs. We got to get the Gen Zs.
Get the fresh blood in there,
yeah.
So that's only available at the door. Not in advance.
So are you getting lots of under 25-year-olds, or is it all usual suspects, a little bit older, Fringe?
I would say that most of my patrons have been not under 25, not taking advantage of that discount. But
that's not their fault.
No, for sure it's not. I would say probably skewing a little older for sure.
And you've been doing this for a while. When was your first?
The first show that I was ever in was in 2016. We did a kids show called Phoebe's Fractured Fairy Tales. Mm-hmm. It was sort of it was like kids improv. So we took the bones of the fairy tales and shook them up. I've been doing solo shows for the last 3 years. So I did Friend Zone in 23. And last year I did Morning at Miss Maples, and this year we're doing Cancer Wife.
So you've got your crowd that wants to come see you every year, and you're building that.
I'm working on building that, for sure. I'm not pulling the big. I'm not a Martin Dockery.
Well,
but
nobody is Martin Dockery. Even Martin is barely Martin Dockery. I was saying something yesterday. I said somebody was doing their show at PTE, and I'm like, how long before that's just called the Chase Paget Theater, right? And how many seats are as your venue?
I think it's 60.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge house, but it's a nice size. It's on the 4th floor, but there is an elevator.
Yeah.
It's clunky and kind of scary, but it's a fine elevator.
And I feel like there is air conditioning.
There is air conditioning.
Yeah.
In the past, we've always shut the air conditioning off during the shows, but we're letting it run through this year. So just to keep the air moving, I'm loud enough that
it's not too noisy.
No, I don't think so. Nobody's complained about it.
Yeah.
I yell a lot.
Yeah. So. And nobody complains about your yelling the rest of the time?
Not generally.
Nobody in life?
No, then they get yelled at.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. What's the show about?
The show is about, on the surface, the show is about a youngish woman who meets a new guy and they hit it off and they decide to sort of see where it's going to go. And then they're just embarking on that. And then he gets a cancer diagnosis. And so it's this experience of sort of moving through that, like that place of trying to figure out what's going on in terms of diagnosis, and then how do they fit with each other, and how does she experience this that is something that is hugely affecting her life but isn't directly hers. So it's that space of sort of being right beside the story. It's like collateral damage.
Is it funny or hopeful, or is it just a bummer?
I like to think it's funny. It does. I think it is hopeful. It's been interesting. I think there's certainly some moments that are a bit heavier, a bit more emotional. I've had a couple of crowds where they've really picked up on the funny parts, which I've really appreciated. I think there's other people who've been like a little bit afraid to laugh. Oh, this is a serious story, I shouldn't laugh at that. But certainly I want to encourage that. I tried to make sure there was some of that, so it wasn't just like, come and be sad with us, so.
Where did it come from, the show?
It's not my story directly. It aligns with some experiences that I've had and experiences of people who are close to me. And then I also, as I was writing it, I did some interviews with other people who have had that experience. So the experiences of the woman in the story and her character is a composite. It's actually, this is the first show that I ever wrote, and I wrote this show during the pandemic.
Okay.
I took a TJ Daw runs a solo show class, and so he and Megan Phillips were running this class, and I hopped into it on Zoom. One of the perks, I suppose, of the pandemic was that everything went to Zoom.
Lots of perks to the pandemic.
Yeah, one of the few.
My favorite perk was everybody in the grocery store staying 7 feet away from me. That was my favorite. I miss those days.
So that's, I built it through that process.
So but now it's 2025. Was it not ready or what? Because you did a couple other things in between.
It was just, I wanted it to percolate a little.
Yeah.
There was a lot of editing. There was a lot of stuff that I had to take out of it that I was maybe not quite ready to take out yet. And then I had like Friend Zone, which I did 2 years ago. I had also written that through the same process and had just finished. Like I finished that script in the fall of 22 and stood it up in the summer of 23. And so it was just, I was already on the roll with that one. So,
so how close have you had cancer in your life?
It's been in the house. So, yeah.
So people that have come to see the show, and presumably you've talked to some of them. What's your feedback been? Does it ring true for people?
That's my impression. Yeah. I've had a couple of people. I mean, the show ends and you don't really know, and I've had people approach me. I've had people tell me, that it was super relatable. Even people that weren't necessarily experiencing cancer specifically, but anybody who was in sort of a caregiving role.
Yeah.
A lot of those things are transferable. I've had people thank me, tell me it was relatable. I've had a couple people come and give me hugs. I had one person come and give me like a person I didn't know and came and just gave me like the tightest hug. It was really nice. So
how long in the show? How long are these people together when he gets his diagnosis?
It's a few months, but it starts out long distance.
Yeah.
So it's like they haven't been living together very long. Yeah. Like when it sort of shakes down.
It's interesting. Two people pop into my mind that I know that were in sort of not the same situation, but one her she split up with her husband, but then he got dementia, and then he didn't have anybody to take care of him, so he had to move back in with her. So she was in this interesting position where she's caregiving for someone, presumably the person in your piece actually wants to be with the other person.
Yes.
But I mean, she was in that situation because when they finally moved him out to different care or whatever, I went in. She was getting rid of some stuff, and that's one of the things that I do is move things and make things go away. And I went over there, and I didn't know her, and she sort of mentioned the situation. I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry, and she's like, oh no, God, I'm glad to be rid of him. And then another person who was on the verge of breaking up with her boyfriend, and then he broke his neck, and she had to. Then he had to, she had to take care of him for, so it is, it's an interesting thing because you feel like whether you want to be with somebody or you're not, or don't, you feel like
you're not allowed to go.
Yeah.
And this show does actually touch on that a little bit about like, can I not do this? Like, like what's on her as the caregiver, and does she have any options? And so those spaces of like that, there's a lot of things I think that people who are caregiving think and feel, but are not really given a good space to talk about.
No.
Right? It's in poor form maybe to say like, what, I wish I didn't have to do this. But that's a really real feeling.
It's a real feeling. And I think, not talking about feelings doesn't make them not exist.
Absolutely not.
And I do know, sometimes when, from my personal experience, when you are doing caregiving, and sometimes when you want to talk about how you feel and how it impacts you, sometimes the person who is, in the midst of the thing, says, well, this isn't about you. But I mean, so, it's not, it's worse for them than it is for you, but I mean, you're also in the mix. So
absolutely.
So that's a tough,
and that's, the light that I'm trying to shine here, right? Is that this person, this character, she is going through all of these things with less support than her boyfriend who's sick, but is still massively affected by it. I heard, it's not, I didn't use the line in the show, but I heard the line that, cancer's not a sniper, it's a grenade. And that, so it doesn't just hit the one, it takes everything, it impacts everybody. And that caregiving piece is so, it's just not, that story's not seen.
So a lot of people that do one-handers, they do sort of confessional stuff. They do stuff from their own lives. I had Ingrid Garner in yesterday, who's doing her grandmother's story. What's appealing to you about doing something that's a little bit farther afield? Do you think that is it more interesting than your life, or you don't want everybody to know your dirty little secrets? Or
I think there's a space of I think there's lots of times where there's a lot of overlap between what is real in somebody's life and what they can work into a story. And then, so to say, like, there are certainly things in there that are confessionally pulled from my story. But it also gives a bit of cover, right? So I live and work in this community. My family is here in this community. And so, it provides us all a little cover, and it provides also a broader story. I wanted to make sure like that there are pieces of it that are not my story directly. And so I did reach out to people that I knew who had those experiences. And so, some friends and some other people to fold all of those things in. But I think at the bottom, the emotional truth is truth, right? So the story itself is is maybe not, a history book story, but the emotional truth is the emotional truth.
Are your parents alive and in town?
My mom is alive. She doesn't live in town here. My dad is not. We lost him almost 3 years ago.
So does your mother, does she see your shows?
She doesn't.
Yeah. Is it because she's not here, or because she thinks you're a lunatic, or what?
I'm not entirely sure. I think a little bit of both.
Column A, column B.
A little bit of yeah. She's not here. She doesn't, she's older. She doesn't drive. So those pieces. It's Fringe is a crazy time. So to have my mom, I don't need to have her come and stay with us. It's just that's not ideal.
Yeah.
It's also, I do think that maybe they think I'm a little bit nuts, and then also it's there's a little bit of there are some truths in this that yeah. So I don't, she hasn't been.
Anybody else in your family come to see you?
My partner is there. My other family members sometimes have come. Yeah. I haven't had anybody yet this year. Friends though this year.
Yeah. Is your partner supportive? They think you're a lunatic?
Probably, but yes, very supportive.
Yeah. So, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. No, it just is interesting because it's such theater is such a strange path, and I think that not everybody gets it.
Yeah.
Because it's just so far out of some people's frame of reference.
Absolutely.
And it's just why are you spending all your time on this?
Yeah.
And I think that my mom is 95, and she's not dementia, but in that kind of family. So she's pretty out of it. And how do I put this? She's never going to watch this, but just kind of, my childhood wasn't, growing up wasn't perfect. There were a lot of things about my mom's management style that maybe were not great for me.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say, one thing is she was an old theater person. She did. It's not there anymore, but it used to be up on the wall at MTC. She was in The Boyfriend at MTC in the 50s, directed by John Hirsch.
Wow.
She played the maid, and there was a picture up. But her mom put her on stage when she was, little. Her mom was, not quite, sing out Baby June, not quite that, but almost. Her mom was an immigrant from Italy who, my mom was the youngest, and she really wanted her to be. My grandmother loved the movies, and so my grandma wanted my mom to be a little movie star. So that was one thing that we always actually shared was theater, and that was the thing that she. I did try to make my living at it for a year. She wasn't super supportive of that. She thought that was nuts because she always, did other things. But in general, it was a thing that that she got. So that was kind of that was kind of nice because it's it's just such a strange thing. It's not like music. People understand music.
Yep.
No, theater. You can't even, unless somebody really gets it, you can't even explain it to them.
I think that when I was growing up, I never really even I never knew of this. I didn't know the Fringe was a thing. I ddidn't know one could grow up and be a playwright. I didn't know those were things you could do. So, it was always sort of, well, maybe theater might be a nice hobby, and then I was away from it for quite a long time. And then I accidentally stumbled back into it because I accidentally took an improv class at PTE. A friend of mine, I was up for dinner, and she was like, oh, I'm doing this PTE class for improv. I'm like, wait, what? And she told me about it, and I'm like, hey, would you be okay if I went too? And so I started taking improv, and that's sort of how I got back into this.
Yeah. And look at you, and she's doing nothing.
Right? No, she we did the first year of improv together, and then I don't think that I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But that she didn't re-up for
Yeah.
improv, and I did, and then I ended up, you make some connections, and bing, bang, boom.
Well, that's fun. Do you remember the first play you went to?
The first play in my life, or
Yeah,
the first
play in your life?
The first play in my life would have been a school Christmas concert.
Oh, okay.
I'm
well,
sure.
how about like the first real play, like, I don't know, not real, but you know what I mean.
I do. The first Fringe play I went to was in the early '90s, and I want to say it's called like The Kings of Saturday Night or something, and it had Dan Gordon in it.
Oh,
Dan
yeah.
Gordon and Andrew Douglas, and a couple of women that I didn't know, but I knew Dan and Andrew.
Yeah.
And so we'd gone to their show, and I remember just being like, "This is incredible! Like, how do you like?" So that was the first time I ever went to the Fringe, because I didn't grow up here.
Yeah.
And then the first play that I saw that wasn't a school play was probably like a community theater play in Brandon.
Yeah.
The first big show that I ever went to, I think, might have been Rent.
Yeah.
At the concert hall or something at MTC.
Rent's pretty good.
Rent is very good. Yeah.
525,600 minutes. I'm going to tell. Dan's actually a good friend of mine, so I'm actually going to tell Dan that you mentioned him, because we were talking about Fringe the other day, and like, it's he had this sort of time, this moment in his life when he did all this Fringe stuff, and then I don't remember why, but he just stopped, and and he just didn't. I mean, because not everybody does it forever. Sometimes it's a season in your life, and whatever. And there's been people like Joel Pasante did a show this year, and he hasn't done a show in 11 years.
Yeah.
So that's sort of encouraging for those of us that have put something down for a bit. It's
for sure,
encouraging to see that, and certainly the what did somebody call the pandemic? A time suck? I don't know. She called it something like, because nobody did anything.
Yeah.
Then,
except I wrote a play like that. Like, so
you were.
I don't know that I would have done that otherwise, right? And so it's like,
you were the only person who made the best use of your time.
my time during the pandemic. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to see anything?
I have seen very little. I'm running on fumes this year, and so I haven't seen very many. We did see New Wave Your Behavior. I saw that last year, and my partner, that's my partner's music.
Yeah.
So I was able to get him there a couple nights ago. My our teenager was volunteering, and so I did see a few shows that just sort of like matched his volunteering schedule, so I could drive us home together. But I have seen not nearly as many as I would have.
Well, liked. I will, since I'm going to make a confession. So it's, we're a week in and a few more days to go, and I haven't seen a single thing.
Oh my gosh.
I've been so busy because I've been working. I've, done 17 hours or whatever of this. Our dog was really sick. We just put him down on Monday. So I'm kind of, this is my last bit of this, and I'm thinking about I have two friends that I see once a year. I see them at Fringe. We go and do a couple of shows. So I haven't even talked to them. So I'm going to see if I can connect with them, because that's kind of a nice excuse to see people that you never see. Probably people you see once a year too. And the show is Cancer Wife. This wasn't in the plan. There is a crab wearing, you can't really see that, but there's a crab wearing a veil. That's very nice, very cute.
Yeah.
And that is over at Venue 22, Creative Manitoba, 245 McDermott, just around the corner from all the stuff. And it is air conditioned in there. And the next show is, next two shows are Thursday at 6, Friday at 7:15. So those are decent times. You should pop by. Apparently it's emotionally true. So there we go.
Yeah.
Emotionally true. So Sherri, thank you so much for stopping in.
For having me over. It's great to see you.
Thank you. The handshake there. Oh, and we should say this. I'm going to say the first two words. I'm going to say the first two words, and you join me with the rest. So We will say art will
save us all.
There we go. What a great way to end. Thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you for watching all of our whatever it is, 17 hours of Fringe coverage. Thanks so much. Talk to you again.